Hey, everybody, welcome to Matt Menu. I can't do this.
Is this over? Are we done? Are you done? Is this the last episode of the podcast?
I can't do this anymore. I can't say it anymore. All right, I'm just starting the show like this. I was doing an intro for Rich, and it was so freaking inappropriate where I took it back and died of hysterics. I'm joined by Rich, the hammer thrower, Stambolian. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, good morning.
I had a very inappropriate intro for you.
Oh, yeah? Can you tell me off the air?
Off the air, I'll tell you. Off the air.
Can you text it? Can you just text it to me now?
I can't. It won't be as funny.
Okay.
It won't be as funny. How you doing, Rich?
I am not doing too terrible. Let's start the show with some good news. Batcher 3000 Super Chat as always. Good morning, my delectables.
Oh, beautiful. Love it. We were just ragging on Joel Pearl for like an hour.
I know. He could take it, though.
He could take it. He's not a misogynist, by the way.
No,
Joel Pearl is not a misogynist. On the record, he's not a misogynist.
On the record, arguably top 3 sweetest people we've ever met doing this wrestling chat stuff that we do.
I don't even know how to do this anymore. I can't take this lower third off. Oh, there you go.
Did you forget I had a podcast?
I forgot I had a podcast. Guys, this show's all about professional wrestling. Thank you for joining us. Saturday morning edition of the show. I'm having some coffee here. I was going to make it Irish.
Oh, yeah? But then you remembered you hate the Irish?
And then I was like, I can't do it. What they did to my people. No, I don't want to drink today. A lot going on in professional wrestling, obviously. We should start off by doing a quick thing about Rumble. Because yes. Unless you want to go into the news, what do you want to do, Rich?
I think right off the top of the show, R.I.P. Lanny Poffo passed away at 68 years old. Hacksaw posted it on Facebook saying, with a very, very heavy heart, I've been asked to let everybody know about the passing of our friend and colleague, Lanny Poffo, the genius. No cause of death was given, but I think he may have been in South America, like living an amazing retirement life.
I don't know what I don't know that to be true at all. I don't know any of that, but I know that he wasn't it just happened. It was quick. It was instant. He apparently passed away in his sleep. Legendary guy, very well known in the business. Very unique character. 68 years old, very young. Dave has it in the Observer this week. You can go check it out there. Were you a Leaping Lenny fan?
I was a Genius fan.
You were a Genius fan. Who wasn't a Genius fan?
Yeah. I also think I was much older when I found out that him and Macho Man were brothers. And then
me too.
When it clicked, I was like, yo, how did we not know?
Yeah, no, man.
Kayfabe, man.
Yeah. Fascinating guy. Terrible to report. WWE Q4 financials. Rich, you could go to bed here. They reported the company's best. It was reported to be the company's best. $1.3 billion in net revenue, an increase of 18% year over year. Hunter said that having Vince has been great, having him around, and just on the board level is a tremendous asset to the company. Read this. Arrows. Okay. There's nothing else. Oh, no. See, I got to stop. I read everything literally, so I got to stop. Thank you. Part of it is a bit, but part of it is not, because I have to stop and read it. They acknowledged that the exploration of the sale without saying the word sale. Nick Khan said that he expects it to be done within 3 months, which is very fast. Also, the company's interested in WWE media rights. Expect that to be happening. Khan said that McMahon's inclusion in running WWE wouldn't be a factor in the sale, which then why come back? Very interesting. And that he would step down and not be involved if it meant more for the shareholders. Of course he's going to say that. He's not going to say, oh, no, if Vince is a detriment to the company, he's still staying. Like everybody was shocked by this. I'm like, why would you be surprised that this is what their stance is going to be? Still doesn't mean that McMahon's not going to be forceful in the fact that, he wants to be around. Nick also said that the sale will happen quickly, possibly within the next 3 months. And the rumor is that Comcast is not a front runner for this. MG, you saw that story? Dave spoke about it.
Yeah, I saw that.
There you go. There's a tin can delay with him.
I know you got it. Is the cold weather affecting the tin cans that connect from your patio to MG's house in the middle of nowhere, Michigan?
Yeah. We're on a tremendous latency here. Yeah, which is interesting. I don't know how true that is. Garrett reported that there's a bizarre rumor, and I have no idea how legitimate this is, that there may be a trade in assets between Disney and Comcast, where ESPN would go to Comcast for, obviously billions of dollars, and in return they would give them something else in return. There's also reports that Disney's looking to offload ABC as part of their property. And Nick Khan also mentioned how linear television is changing, and it's a key part in their business, but it's not the end-all, be-all, which was very interesting to say that, meaning linear television being traditional TV means non-linear being, streaming
Netflix
or whatever. Yeah, so they're throwing some mixed signals here. At the end of the day, going private is what they're going to end up doing, in my opinion.
Yeah, listen, man, don't discount the mouse from any of these conversations. I know
you've been saying you may end up being right here. You may end up being right
for years.
Then do we get to see the Undertaker in the MCU? Does that finally happen? Would they do that?
Oh, it'd be amazing. Make him Ghost Rider.
Make him Ghost Rider? The Undertaker is Ghost Rider. Yeah,
make him Ghost Rider. That's it.
AEW,
what are you gonna say, MG?
Yeah, go ahead, MG.
No, I was going to say, I think Nick Khan also said that there's 2 new players for the TV rights.
Yeah, Rich and myself, we're buying it.
Right on.
Just dick jokes for 5 hours a week. That's all you get. Nick Khan said that the sale will be done early, quickly, and we can move on from here. AEW's kicking off AEW House Rules live event starting on March 18th in Troy, Ohio. Jon Moxley, Claudio, Britt Baker, Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy were all announced to do this. This is not the first time that they've done a house show. They did it when they started AEW. It was not a profitable venture for them.
Right.
But it did get talent in front of a live crowd, in front of a larger live crowd. So, listen, they're trying. This is why Jarrett came in, and they're going to try doing it. I don't know what size buildings they should be running. 2,000 people. I mean, right now they're doing 4,500 to 7,000 for TV, 7,000 on the high end, on average. Their ticket sales are not super hot right now. We're entering. It's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see what happens and how often they run with this. AEW considering starting a streaming service, likely through Warner Brothers Discovery. This according to that Bloomberg article, which has the most bizarre picture of Tony Khan on it. Did you see this, Rich?
I always feel like when it comes to Tony Khan's photos, they use the most unflattering one across any media provider.
No. You have no idea what they did here. They took, it's like an AI image of Tony Khan as the Ultimate Warrior.
Really?
You have to see this bonker. He's like jacked to the gills. You got to find this photo. It's the Bloomberg cover to the story, which is so weird. It was such a fantastically weird image. You got to find it. It was all over Twitter.
You know what? Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So it is essentially Tony Khan on like an Ultimate Warrior type body with the AEW belt wrapped around his waist. Yo, it's effing bizarre, man. I feel like they messed up his face too.
He's made with oil.
This is really weird.
It's an oil painting.
Guys, if you're in front of your computer right now, just Google image search Bloomberg Tony Khan photo, and it's one of the first things that pops up.
It's bonkers.
It's bizarre looking.
Yeah, so the article said that they're close to this deal. Dave said, the wording that was used was kind of off here. They also interviewed Eric Bischoff in the article, in the story. It was a strange article, if you ask me. Don't go based on my opinion. Go read the article and make up your mind there. So this is interesting here, too.
So good.
New Japan announces the departure of Koda Ibushi. Ibushi will be working GCW Bloodsport and GCW Spring Break, Joey Janela's Spring Break 7, WrestleMania weekend. So this is his venture into North America. Obviously, Kota Ibushi, everybody knows he doesn't really want to be locked down to a contract. That was part of the reason why he didn't go to WWE, because he was going to win that Cruiserweight Classic, right? Was it? No. It wasn't a Cruiserweight Classic. It was what tournament was that?
It was a Cruiserweight Classic.
It was.
That's what it was. Yeah.
You're right, yeah.
And unbelievable that guy's a Cruiserweight. You know?
At that point, yeah, I think now he's in heavyweight territory, because much like the Young Bucks a few years ago in New Japan, I think they put the mandate down like, hey, put on a few pounds of muscle. He's a big dude, man.
He is a big dude. Yeah, he's a big jacked up dude, but he didn't want to sign a contract there. That's why he was, in DDT for so long, and he did his thing. But he went to New Japan, and it did not go well. And now he's a free agent, and he's touring North America. Now, WWE would want him. For a long time, they've addressed this. I mean, I think anybody that speaks to him knows how valuable he would be on that roster as a pure talent. But does he go to AEW, and when?
I would love it if he did some shows with AEW. Clearly there's a lot of history there, and probably a lot of money to be made. But again, he's one of those unique personas in professional wrestling where the only one who knows what Kota Ibushi is going to do is Kota Ibushi. And that kind of brings me to what our next point is, which is something out of left field completely.
Oh, yeah, this is insane.
Kota Ibushi was approached with an offer to be Manny Pacquiao the boxer, his first opponent in Rizin.
So Rizin is like, I guess it's very, if I were to describe it, it's like a bonkers pride.
You're right.
Right? But why would he want that fight?
Is it like a combination of kind of like pride and like pancreas?
Yeah, it's like they do weird stuff. They do boxing, they'll do MMA, they do kickboxing. It's like a hybrid, whatever, So great entrances, I'll tell you that. They do fantastic intros for their guys.
Kota does have an MMA record.
He does, but
apparently
Manny Pacquiao is one of the greatest of all time. Boxers.
How without looking it up, Andrew, how old do you think Manny Pacquiao is?
Oh, he's like 1,500 years old. I think he's in his 40s, mid 40s.
He is only 43 years old.
Okay, mid 40s, yeah.
44 years old.
44.
He just turned 44. When you look at the guy, you would think he was in his 50s. I was about to agree with you. I feel like that's going to be fun if it ever comes down to it, and I think you're going to get that wild side of Kota Ibushi.
He's just going to do these crazy MMA fights and do all that stuff. I mean, I don't want to see this, but I'm still intrigued by it, You don't
want to see it. You don't want to see Kota Ibushi versus Manny Pacquiao?
No, because Manny will beat the crap out of him.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on that one.
Let's go into Royal Rumble before we go into AEW. Let's skip into this.
Yes, sir.
Cody won the 30-man Royal Rumble. What did you think of this Rumble? I watched it twice.
I enjoyed it. I feel like we were a little... I feel like our expectations were set a little too high as far as surprises go, because for months we were told, expect a lot of surprises.
Yeah, it was Edge. That was it.
Yeah, it was the surprises that we've been talking about for the last 8 months.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, it was an interesting Rumble. It was a fun Rumble. My kids watched it for the first time live because it went on at 8 o'clock. And
did they like it?
They effing loved it, Rich. They loved it. They loved that. They loved the pitch black match. They loved the women's Rumble. They loved the Roman match. They really got into it. It was actually fascinating to see how like they got sucked into that. And it's the same thing that happens with casual viewers when they watch a Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you been at my house with the Rumble on for like a party, and all of a sudden all these people that don't like wrestling are now like glued to the TV?
I think you get that with Rumble and with WrestleMania. Because of the spectacle and just like the interesting rules. It lends itself to a lot of fun.
MG, did you add any Royal Rumble news to the notes with the numbers or no? No. Okay.
I didn't.
You didn't. Okay. I'll go into it now. So we'll go into this and then we'll talk about how the record-breaking live viewership that they had for this thing. Bray Wyatt, LA Knight, pitch black match. I mean, listen, it was an LED match. You know how much money they made off of this match?
A Mountain Dew truckload.
$1 million.
From Mountain Dew.
From, I guess it's Coca-Cola, right? They own it?
But also, see what happens when you drink that shit, man?
Pepsi.
See what happens when you drink that shit? That was the direct... Bray Wyatt's face at the end of that match was the direct result of ingesting pitch black Mountain Dew.
I mean, just a wacky gimmick match. You sold the ad, fine.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Nick Khan did say that they are now fine with putting sponsorships on the ring.
Cool.
Yeah, so interesting. This is a very different company. Vince would have never done that. Listen, I thought it was weird, but my kids liked it, and that's who it was for. Uncle Howdy jumped off the stage.
The payoff was the face paint, though.
The payoff was that was the payoff. Bianca Belair defeated Alexa Bliss to retain the title. Spooky Alexa video package played afterwards. Rhea Ripley won the 30-woman Royal Rumble match. I thought she did really good. What a strong character they've made for her. And they told the story of Rhea and Liv. They made Liv look great. Asuka was eliminated third when she missed misting Asuka Morgan. So she got eliminated.
No, she missed Rhea and
she
got
missed
Liv
Rhea.
Morgan.
Yes, that's what happened.
Yeah.
And the main event, which went 19 minutes 14 seconds. So the match was fine. The match was really good, but the story of this was the end. You know,
what an ending.
What an ending. These guys, they have figured out a captivating story. Yes. And that building erupted when Sami hit Roman with that chair. It just became, it was fantastic. Everything about that segment was great. I was glued to it. This is the most I've been invested in a WWE storyline in a very long time. I think for a lot of people. And guess what I did last night? I had to put on SmackDown to see that ending.
Same here. Now, let me ask you, Andrew.
Yes, sir.
Is this the best storyline in current pro wrestling?
Oh, yeah. This is the best storyline in years.
Across all companies, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. It's think about it this way, right? Forget about my personal interest. It has really caused a little bit of a boom for WWE.
Yes.
They're in a boom. I mean, I don't think I know there are a bunch of detractors out there that want them to suck and be terrible. And listen, a lot of stuff that they do is terrible. It's heinous. I can't watch it. But this is not one of those moments.
No,
this is captivating. You're invested in Roman as that character. He's champion for 800 and something days. Michael Cole, by the way, last night on SmackDown did a fantastic job at putting this guy over. He was in his element at the end of that show. Roman has had that title for 800 something days. I'm not tired of seeing him with that title. I don't think he should ever lose that title. What you've created now in WWE is, when I grew up, Hogan not having the title was not a thing, right? Mm-hmm. He always had that belt.
But when he didn't have the belt, you were really, really by his side to get that belt back. I can't see Roman without the belt now.
I mean, obviously, we know he's going to drop the belt and somebody else is going to get it and he'll continue. But you've created for an entire generation of viewers that are watching this. You created that guy. And you did a way better job than you ever did with John Cena.
I'll agree with that 100%.
Because
and
those guys that like Roman, those kids, everybody recognizes he's a heel, but they're not gonna boo him in 5 years when they're teenagers.
No, not at all. Also, he hasn't crossed that line into cool heel yet. Yes, there is the cool factor to him, but he's not Spooky Fingers in. Mm-mm. He's not Scott Hall.
No. He's a very serious heel.
Very good. It's a very listen, you can't mess with classic storytelling. And it's we all know that the hubris on display is going to bite him in the ass, right?
Yeah.
Now, we have that match at Elimination Chamber with Sami Zayn, which I'm very much looking forward to. I think it's going to be a barn burner. But you know what? What it's more than likely going to lead into? Sami getting Roman screwed out of that belt at Mania and Cody winning.
I mean, if that's the way out, I don't know. I'm curious what they do there because they're kind of trapped in a really strong storyline. We'll talk about SmackDown, but I wanted to talk about Rumble. Let's go into SmackDown now. The ending of SmackDown. First of all, Braun is creating his ensemble of dummies again, which is wonderful. I'm not insulting Ricochet. It's an old joke from years ago. Rey Mysterio in the New Day and Judgment Day NASCAR segment. You got that. Charlotte.
I did not like that. I honestly that took me out. Again, not to poo-poo on wrestling, but it wasn't too silly for me. I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah, I agree with you. Viking Raiders and the Brawling Brutes. They defeated them. Elimination Chamber Fatal 4-Way Qualifier. Natty defeated Shotzi, Shayna Baszler, and Zelina Vega. Roman Reigns had a segment in the locker room. Paul Heyman, Solo, and Jimmy Uso try to get a hold of Jay, but no one can. Roman is annoyed, saying that he's under a lot of pressure, but ends up sending them to catering.
Go eat dinner.
Yeah, that was waiting for them at the bus, in the ring. He goes out. So he comes out, big entrance, right? Big, huge entrance. Comes out, and he's like, I want to talk about Cody, someone deserving. And people booed.
Yeah.
And here comes Sami from the back, attacks him.
What a pop.
Great pop, great reaction. Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso come out, ambush Sami. And now they're doing this great thing where Roman is off mic, right? He's not holding a microphone. And he's screaming at Sami. And it's distorting it, because it's the overhead mic. It's like the camera mic. And they did a fantastic job, and that is not by error. He wasn't too loud. They did it to show you're not supposed to hear this.
Right.
He's so angry and loud. Look how distorted it's coming out. Great ending. Great ending to SmackDown.
The promo that Roman cut in the ring was fantastic. Whenever he goes somewhere, it's not, how could we help you? It's, what can you do for me? And it's like, everybody wants something from me. The attack from Sami was awesome. Huge pop. Huge pop. It made me very reminiscent about the Mick Foley Triple H stuff. Where like Sami is in that Mankind / Mick Foley position where he is the consummate underdog, right? Like, this guy's challenging for the title. Cuts a great promo on Roman. Very fired up. The crowd was on his side. Elimination Chamber calls out the match. Roman selling it. Like, how could this happen to me? But we all know Roman is notoriously unaware of chairs that are behind him.
Yeah, I mean that's his kryptonite.
That's his thing. Chairs are Roman Reigns' kryptonite.
But here's something interesting, right? In the chat, okay? Where is this? MKAS says there's just no heat with Cody and Roman. The fans want Sami. Yeah, and they're gonna have to get creative on how to bridge that.
Yeah.
Does Cody save Sami at the end of Elimination Chamber and give him that babyface rub in Montreal that he's coming to save them? He's saving Sami and Kevin. You could do something like that.
Yeah.
You have these different ways. I mean, can you? In a perfect world, the match would be. I mean, Sami would win that title in Montreal. But you have too much on the line here. One is the record of 880 something days. Two is that you got to make Cody the guy.
You got to make Cody the guy. And how do you get there? But also, why not make Sami the guy for a little bit? Like him winning that title in Montreal would, I think, generate one of the biggest pops in wrestling history. And I'll go on the record and say that.
You could do a fluke win, and he wins the title, and then he loses it, the following week on SmackDown, and you pop that SmackDown rating over 3 million people. Easy.
That would be amazing. Also, but in typical WWE fashion, what always happens when a guy wrestles in his hometown?
Loses.
Always loses.
You're a loser.
Right? But how great would it be to have Sami win in Montreal? Again, even if he wins for 10 minutes and they reverse the decision and continue the match somehow, right? Why not use as many screw finishes as possible for any Roman stuff that you do? It doesn't hurt him at all.
Yeah, Roman's not getting hurt from anything, which is a positive here, but yeah, we'll see. I'm curious what they do here. I'd love to see Sami with the title, but it's just not the time. You gotta get to Cody, and you can't have Roman look weak at all, because this once again is the Brock Lesnar thing. They had an opportunity with Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre. We talk about it all the time, and they were going with it. And Drew was going to become the guy. The pandemic hurt that. They need, in order to create that next big star. Now, do I think Cody is going to be a Roman Reigns level world champion? I don't think so. I don't think a babyface has the depth to get over like that. But you still need a babyface as your world heavyweight champion that people could get behind, and he's a super babyface.
Yes.
I feel like right now they're in a they got to be careful with Cody and what they do with him.
Right, because you don't want him essentially being the Rey Mysterio in that Daniel Bryan year, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, so I think that's where we're going. And also, I feel like I don't want to say that they're painting themselves into a corner, but the Jey Uso thing needs to play out also. I feel like fans really want to see that. The Sami thing is pretty much all encompassing right now. You heard how that crowd reacted last night.
Oh yeah, big time.
Right?
Big time.
Now, what does Jey do?
What does Jey do?
Does Jey say, listen, I am all about the family?
Or does this is a swerve? Yeah.
Is a swerve, and do we get that match that could have been in the books from last year, KO and Sami versus Jimmy and Jay at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
But you want that organic like run, right? And like, who's to say they can't bill WrestleMania as Sami versus Solo, then Sami versus Jimmy? You know what I mean? And like do a gauntlet. You can do so many things with this.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where they go. Listen, man, we're talking about SmackDown. We rarely do. We skim over the show. We talk about the matches, and we go right into AEW. Like we're talking about it because it's good. It's a very good story.
This is the best story going on in wrestling right now. It makes you want to watch more. And also, like, that ending to Royal Rumble as a pay-per-view as a whole was arguably one of the best endings to any pay-per-view WWE has done in the last, like, 5 or 6 years, right?
Yeah. Listen, those cliffhangers is something that's lacking in pro wrestling, okay? And the same goes for AEW. And we have said this forever. The thing, the Attitude Era, for all the terribleness that existed, and I'm telling you, we grew up in that era. I thought it was the best wrestling. This was it. This is the best boom. This is the best period for pro wrestling. But I'm going to tell you something. I rewatched all of it when the network came on. We would sit down and I would call Rich and I'm like, I'm in 99. Where are you? He did it too. It was abysmal, majority of it. Majority of wrestling, it was abysmal because there was no wrestling and the stories were insane. But when the story was really good, you tuned in. And one thing they did better than anybody else, and something that is totally lacking in pro wrestling today, is at 11:03 or 11:01, whatever the F they do is making you think about it for the entire week, so you tune in on that following Monday.
Oh yeah, it was straight up water cooler talk, because also at that point, I think the benefit was you did not have any streaming. You had a VCR and a tape. Like you'd have to, like, I didn't have cable, but I would, on Tuesday morning, I would get a tape from a buddy at school and then watch it, you know what I mean? Or hear the recaps or anything like that. Now it's, I think it's still, a lot of it I think is still appointment television, and we are also blessed to have it available the next morning,
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, I want to see what happens next. And that's why I watch SmackDown. And guess what? That's why I watch Raw on Monday, because I wanted to see what happens next. And if you don't present that, then it's not appointment television.
Right.
Then it's just another show. Okay, it's on. Now you're going into people patterns. Give me a reason to tune in, guys, and I will.
And the Bloodline is a fantastic reason.
Fantastic reason. Let's go with some AEW here. Oh, by the way, WrestleMania, here's what we're looking at so far. Dave Meltzer in the newsletter this week reported 4 matches have been locked and 2 have already been announced. Roman Reigns versus Cody and Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley are set. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Damage Control, which will be Io Sky and Dakota Kai for the women's titles. I guess they're finally, a year later, they're putting the titles on Ronda and Shayna.
Sure.
We reported this January of 2022, and they finally did it. Let's go into AEW, Rich.
Let's see here. Okay. Whew. Good episode, solid episode.
Yeah.
The show started off hot. Jon Moxley beating Hangman Page. Mox's thin forehead skin came into play here once again with him bleeding very early on in the show. And when I say that, it's not a knock on Moxley. I just think it's a funny joke. That this guy, if you breathe on him, he'll start bleeding. Mox is able to trap Hangman after Page using the Bulldog choke. Mox got a very lackluster pin, which I like because it plays into the storyline, and they had like a little scuffle after the match. What did you think about the opener?
I thought it was great. It was a fantastic opener. Those two really beat the crap out of each other. I thought it was a great ending. Clearly this feud is going to continue, but I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, great hard hitting match. I was surprised it opened, but man, what a great opener.
Up next, we had the AEW Tag Team Champions, the Acclaimed, defeating the Outrunners, Truth Magnum, and Turbo Floyd.
Okay.
I love that name.
Great. First of all, the Outrunners, great tag name. Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd, great wrestling names.
Hell yeah.
They made, they look, I think the part of the line that Caster had was that they look like the Beverly Brothers.
Yes.
Fantastic.
The story here is, the ongoing storyline between the Ass Boys and the Acclaimed. Billy Gunn caught in the middle. It's a love triangle. Who gets the love and affection of Billy Gunn? Billy Gunn gets mad, accepts the challenge on behalf of the Acclaimed. So we're going to get Acclaimed versus Ass Boys. Do you see Billy Gunn turning on the Acclaimed and aligning with his sons, Ass number 1 and Ass number 2?
I mean, everything points in that direction, but I'm thinking because it's so transparent, maybe they won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he had a great line. I forgot which ass boy it was, but he said something about loving his pills more than them.
Oh, so good,
fantastic, great line.
Got real.
All right, cool. Let's see. They're trying something. They're trying to elevate these young guys, but once this is done, what do you do with the Acclaim? Where do you go from there?
Do you think, I mean, you could play a little hot potato with those tag belts a little bit for like a couple of months. Acclaim has had a good run. They're clearly on the precipice of having that title over and over again. They are probably the most watched and fan favorite tag team in the division at this point, which is very interesting, and they're homegrown guys for the most part.
Yeah.
Throw the title on the Ass Boys, see what happens, and then do a little back and forth, and and then eventually put it on the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah, I mean they could do a lot with this for sure. Takeshita.
Next,
go ahead, Rich. You go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, okay.
By all means.
Takeshita defeated ROH 6-man champion Brian Cage with Prince Nana. This is his real big win on TV.
Takeshita is another one who has a very bright future in wrestling.
Oh yeah, big
and
time.
I think he has the potential to be one of the biggest feathers in Tony Khan's cap. Also,
I think so. Yeah,
next
sleeper. He's a sleeper right now.
Sleeper, but huge win over Brian Cage, and this was the Brian Cage that people have wanted to see for the last couple of years.
Yeah, I feel it's really unfortunate because I thought when 2019 when they debuted that roster, I think you and I both were talking about, I'm like, oh, this is like Brian Cage is going to be a main player in that top tier. Him, Neville, Kenny. Like Brian Cage was very impressive to look at. I know his contract is coming I think it expires this year. I think. So I don't know if he's going to stay or go, but if you're WWE, would you want Brian Cage?
Well, think about it. If he goes anywhere, I would say, again, this is just me talking. If he went to Impact, he'd again be a big fish in a small pond, right?
Which I don't think he needs to be. I got it. I got it.
Go ahead.
I got it.
Go ahead.
I got it. I got it.
Talk to me. Tell me. Okay. What are you thinking?
Listen.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Johnny Gargano's having a match. Okay.
Boom.
He's in the fucking ring. He's doing his thing. He's getting his ass kicked. And all of a sudden he starts raging. Why I oughta? One of those. The lights go off. Smoke starts coming out. Green smoke. And all of a sudden he transforms into Brian Cage. And that's the gimmick.
I would love that.
It's a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing where Cage is, it's him with the ooze.
He's the Hulk. He is Johnny Gargano's Hulk.
Why can't you do that? Why can't you do it? You could do it. They're both Wolverine guys.
I think that would be a great idea, but would you believe that? Is that believable to a wrestling fan?
Yes, it is. 100% it is. And I think they would both love to do it. I think Johnny Gargano would love to be in a gimmick where he possesses this ability of rage where he just becomes Brian Cage.
Mm-hmm.
They're both Wolverine guys.
It's interesting. You could talk about this for ages, but Brian Cage strikes me as a guy, as talented as he is, I do feel like he would get lost in the shuffle in WWE unless you put him on NXT. Imagine what better challenger for Braun Breaker than effing Brian Cage.
Brian Cage. Yeah, you could do that too. I think there's a lot of options here.
Yeah.
I still think they need to go through with this. That's my booking suggestion. We're doing
Gargano,
spooky stuff anyway.
That's true. Gargano hulking out and becoming Brian Cage. Love it.
Why I oughta.
And just call him the other Johnny.
The other Johnny. Danielson defeated Timothy Thatcher. What did you think of this match?
Yeah, I loved it. I love how gnarly Timothy Thatcher is. His character is, and again, this is the character, not the person. To me, his character is, when is a woman ever going to love me?
Sorry, somebody is... Do you hear this? Do you hear what's happening here?
No, I don't. I never hear anything on your end.
Oh, God. There's honking. There's yelling.
Do you do this with Garrett? Do you interrupt yourself to talk about
I'm
street
so
noise?
Distracted. Yeah, there's so much. It's an ungodly amount. I don't know what to do with this.
Did somebody dox you?
Someone's doxing me, dude. Timothy Thatcher, I saw so much of him in Evolve.
Yeah.
Fantastic worker.
I'll repeat my joke for you. Timothy Thatcher's character, not the man, is a guy who turns around and goes, "Will a woman ever love me?"
Love it. Thank you so much for that.
Will I ever be loved? It's all over his face.
Was that a better reaction?
It's all over his face. No. Talk to me more about your street noise.
I'm so sorry, dude. It's so fucking distracting. I can't. They're screaming outside.
Andrew's getting swatted live on the air.
Yeah. What are they screaming? Are they screaming about you? Are they saying, we know you're in,
I can't. That's
are the villagers...
The villagers
with the pitchforks.
Finally.
We know you're in there, Zarian, you monster.
MJF walks out with his diamond ring, but he got wiped out by Takeshita, who brawls with MJF in the back. After that, they were separated. And in the back, Renee informs them that Takeshita will get a title eliminator.
Awesome.
Match against MJF. So does MJF lose?
What? I don't think he's gonna wrestle. To be honest, I feel like they're gonna keep that. They're gonna keep that little storyline going of him not wrestling. What is, in your opinion, the best story that AEW has going now?
I am
there
a
is
little.
A lot. There's quite a few. Keep in mind,
There's quite a few stories, but I don't know. The Samoa Joe Darby Allin stuff is very cool. I mean, listen, this Bryan Danielson and MJF story is interesting, but I think you would be more invested in this if you believe that Bryan Danielson will win the title.
Okay.
Because they unless he is going to win the title, and this is a nice little, in between of a swerve, because the story of Danielson has always been he gets these title shots, but he can't win.
Mm-hmm.
He drawed.
He did together.
Yeah, he did a 30-minute draw with Omega. He couldn't beat Hangman, right? So
right.
I can't remember the other matches, but this is part of the story that maybe he just can't cut it. But eventually you're going to have to pay it off. I think the problem with this is that a lot of people don't believe that Danielson's going to beat MJF this soon.
I agree with you. Also, I feel like a fun bit if, when Danielson gets past Roosh, right, then it's all MJF, right? And they're going to have that big match. I would love it if Danielson cut a promo of going, hey, listen, dude, I beat Evolution in one night.
Yeah.
What makes you think I can't beat you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually great. So he's doing Roosh. They're not doing. I think it's still a great opportunity to figure out if they could do Zack Sabre Jr.
How great would that have been?
Because he's in town, right?
Yeah.
Or he's in America.
He's somewhere.
He's wrestling in Seattle tonight.
Tonight he's wrestling in Seattle.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or no, it's next week. I'm sorry.
What, the 12th?
Next Saturday. Yeah, the 11th.
Unless they keep him to the 15th. Could do it. Roosh is a great opponent, by the way, for Danielson. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Jade Cargill defeated Red Velvet to retain the TBS title. Main event time. Was it the 50th? Yeah, it was. Yeah.
They made a big deal about that. It was the 50th win. Great.
Yeah, very cool. Samoa Joe defeated Darby Allin in a no-holds-barred match to win back the TNT title. He is the champion of television once again. The whole match was about how much Darby could endure. They essentially beat the crap out of each other, and after the match, Wardlow made his return with his new haircut, and he ran off Joe, likely setting up the Revolution rematch for the TBS title.
Did you like Darby's thumbtacked sweatshirt hoodie?
I did not recognize what it was at first, and I was like, oh, that's a weird shirt.
You thought it was sequins?
I thought it was sequins, yeah.
That was fun. I like the story of that. He's over, huh?
Big time.
He's their Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing about him is that he's so marketable. Where's all that merch?
Very marketable. Yep. Very young. Do you let your kids watch Dynamite or no?
Yeah, they watch it. I mean, I'm always
Darby
in the room. They just got into heavily into Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre because of the toys.
Okay.
So I haven't bought the AEW toys for them. So they're they know they know people, but they're not as invested as the WWE characters. Again, dude, it's all marketing, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, look at Roman, and if you're a kid, look at Roman and look at Drew McIntyre. They look like they're jumping out of superhero.
Those are my kids. That's my son's favorite. Drew McIntyre is his favorite wrestler.
Giants.
You know who Taylor loves? Natty.
Oh, why not?
Loves Natty. Loves Natty.
Cats. It's the cats.
It's the cats. Yeah, the cats. So next week's Dynamite, MJF faces Takeshita in an AEW World Title Eliminator match. Ricky Starks attempts to run the Garcia Guevara Garcia gauntlet.
All right.
Okay. Bryan Danielson versus Roosh. In the Ricky Starks stuff? A little bit.
In the Jericho Ricky Starks stuff.
Yeah, a little bit. AEW Women's Champion Jamie Hayter takes on the Bunny in a title eliminator match, and the Acclaimed defend their AEW tag team titles against the Guns. All right, cool. I'm into it.
I didn't put it on there, but from Rampage last night, the one story that I think is picking up steam that's probably worth mentioning is the women's evasion thing that's starting to happen.
Explain it.
Last
night.
Yes.
Last
night, Saraya and Toni Storm are kind of branching off, and it looks like we're going to get some sort of faction war with the originals, the AEW originals, and the girls that came in from other places.
Yeah, because there was that moment between Britt Baker and Ruby, and she was saying listen, you don't know me as long as you know them. Where the hell were you? Essentially saying hey, you're siding with them. Yeah. All right, cool. I mean, all right, whatever. Very cool. Nice little side program there. Cool. Tonight, NXT Vengeance Day. It's a PLE for those that don't know. 8 p.m. start from the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is a pay-per-view. Nobody's talking about this, right?
Sadly, no.
You want to go down this card?
Sure. You got a 2 out of 3 falls match, Apollo Crews versus Carmelo Hayes. That's going to be fun. You have the NXT Women's Tag Team titles, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, the champions, versus Fallon Henley and Kiana James. Great. You have the NXT Tag Team titles, The New Day. Awesome. I'll stick around for The New Day versus Gallus and Pretty Deadly versus Turnbuckle Dan. We're bringing him back. North American title. I'm also kind of pumped for this. Wes Lee versus Dijak. I like the return of Dijak to NXT.
Yeah,
Good
me
for
too.
him.
Yeah, very good.
NXT Women's title, Roxanne Perez versus JC Jane versus Gigi Dolan. I have a feeling they're going to put the title on Gigi Dolan.
You think so?
Team player. Yeah,
all right,
absolutely. Cool. And your main event, steel cage match for the NXT Championship. It should be a fun one. You have Braun Breaker versus Grayson Waller. Is this when Breaker loses the title? I'm going to say no.
I don't. What do you do with Braun Breaker? You have yet to have main roster crossover with him, and he's been there for a while as the top guy.
Lost opportunity to put him in the Rumble. I would have preferred. Listen, I know you guys are going to poo-poo this. I would have preferred Braun Breaker to Booker T in the Rumble if I was booking it.
Yeah, me too. I agree with you. I'm not poo-pooing on you.
I got one correction for you guys. One correction on the they added Chase U as the Turnbuckle Dan team on the tag title match.
Oh, cool.
So Duke Hudson and Andre Chase.
Very cool.
Okay, cool.
All right.
We want to do questions?
Let's do questions, boys and girls. Submit your questions in the chat room. We'll do our best to answer them.
Ooh. Absolutely. All right, let's see here. We got a couple of super chats. One from Shreyar Hashemi. I acknowledge the hair boss and his wise man Rich.
Thank you.
I like that you're in charge of the hairline.
I'm in the hair business, so my phone's not charging either. Just want to let you know. I'm having a disaster stay here.
I'll be Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
You're Roman, and then Gonzo and Jonathan are the Usos.
The Usos?
and Joel could be Solo Sikoa.
Joel could be Solo Sikoa.
The fifth Matman.
He tried to thumb me one time.
Well,
very inappropriate.
I mean, I asked you not to tell me.
Sounded terrible.
All right, we got another $5 here from Michael Redden. Thanks, Mike. Will you check out the new weekly MLW show starting Tuesday night on Reels?
Yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna check it out. You know, Reels has really taken off because of their live PD show. Now it's, what does it go? On Patrol Live. Have you watched this show? It is fascinating.
I have not. Tell me about it.
First of all, too many drunk shirtless people walking the streets. Okay,
great.
Way too many.
That fight.
Way too many, and they're always on bikes. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Do you know how to ride a bike?
I do know how to ride a bike. Yeah.
I've never seen you on a bike.
I got a great story. I got a great story. One day I'll tell it. When I was 14 years old, I was robbed at knife point by the Clearview Expressway on the service road by this guy. He stole my bike, and he brought it back the next day to my friend's house where he robbed me. He robbed me in front of my friend's house. He brought the bike back with a note, and the note was so poorly written, like you could tell that he couldn't read or write. But essentially, he was telling me that he was being chased and he feared for his life, and he brought the bike back.
He needed to steal your bike.
He needed to steal my bike, and I was like, what a dumb criminal. That's all I thought. I would have never found this guy.
Wow. Always return to the scene of the crime.
They always return to the scene of the crime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. What else? Yeah, I'm gonna check out that show. But Reels, their entire platform is like that and reruns of Cops. So live PD On Patrol Live is Cops, but live.
Wow.
With like a control decks that they fire to. You know, they go to the control deck and they're like we got Officer Parkins in Kalamazoo reporting to a domestic call, you know, and then it's like dragging the guy out for being too drunk in the house.
That's wild. You know what? Yeah. You know what? I never got into Cops, right? But you know what I used to get a kick out of back in the day?
What?
America's Most Wanted.
America's Most Wanted was great. Yeah.
America's Most Wanted.
Unsolved Mysteries.
Ooh. Oh, I used to love Unsolved Mysteries, man. Those alien episodes when I was a kid used to scare the shit out of me.
So good. So good.
I always felt like I was going to be abducted. But when you get older, you're like, I live in the middle of Queens. Nobody's coming to abduct me from a spaceship.
Yes. Other places, yes. A spaceship, no.
A spaceship, no. But definitely there's some seedy alleyways around here.
Yeah.
You know, the aliens would actually be saving us if they abducted us from New York.
Take me.
All right, guys, we're going to do some more questions. We got a good half an hour, so if you want your questions read ahead of the pack, feel free to super chat us any amount and join our YouTube subscription page. I know that makes MG Geek very happy and slightly horny. This is from BC Knight. New month, same question. Who do you think will buy WWE?
If it's not Comcast, I think it's going to be a private equity group, and I think the Saudis will be involved.
I'm going to go Disney again.
Okay. We both have very we have not budged.
No.
I'm not even convinced that it's one group. That's why I mean a private equity group. It could be you know, Vince at the helm with X amount of percentage still in the company, and maybe the Saudis are involved and maybe someone else is involved, you know, there's removing it from being a publicly traded company is the point here.
Okay.
It's also, the estimate is $105 per share. That is bonkers.
Wow. How many shares do you own?
None. Zero. I've never owned a wrestling stock. Nope.
Wow. Interesting. Well, is WWE
and
it
could possibly, and it's most likely illegal if I owned it.
Ooh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. This is MCASP PDO 64. Is Jungle Hook really over? I see them coming back every once in a while till they go for the titles. Undeniable. It's the hair.
I mean, they do both have beautiful hair.
Yeah, I think for now they're taking a break, right?
I don't know what they're gonna do with them. You know, like here's the thing: like Jungle Boy is over, but you got to do something, and that All Atlantic title should be on him. You know, I know you don't want to call it a cruiserweight title, but you know, having him with something would work. Hook, I don't know what you're gonna do with him. You know, he's done this monster thing for a while, and now he needs to work matches, and you gotta just grow that. I think it's like listen, they're so young, they have time. You don't need to rush anything.
Yeah, are they
Hook is 22?
Are they done as a tag team for now? Sure.
I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
Okay. This is from Lo-Fi Fit. What were Andrew and Rich's favorite wrestling toys when they were kids?
I could tell you mine was my Scott Steiner WCW figure, the one that doesn't move. That was my favorite one because I would pretend that was me when I would play.
You just never move.
I would just never move. And then he was the referee.
Child.
He was the referee always when I was a kid. These are my childhood toys. And
your dad does tell me that story, though. He's like, Andrew, when he was a child, he never moved.
He never moved. And then Savio was my wife's uncle that would ask for money.
That's good.
Yeah.
When I was a kid?
Yeah, as a kid. I was married. You have no idea.
When I was a kid, my favorite wrestling figure, I don't know if you guys remember these, and I might be dating myself. It wasn't the LJN big figures because I didn't have them. Was a... What do you got there?
These?
No. Like the big... You don't remember like the big LJN figures? Like,
oh, yeah. Yeah.
I never had those. But I did have a Hogan and Nikolai Volkov thumb wrestler set. So they were little plastic figures that were like about this big, right? And you could put your thumb in their lower back and rest them on your hand. And then you could, you know, with somebody else, you'd have like a thumb wrestling thing with the other character. So like I had Hogan and Volkov. So, you know, you do thumb wrestling, except it's Hogan and Volkov. And it was so much fun. I got to see if I can find those. I think they might be in like...
What did your dad think
my
of
folks'
the toys?
basement or something. Huh?
What did your dad think of it?
Of what?
Of like the wrestling toys.
Oh, canonically, I'll tell you a little story here real quick. My dad hated every single toy I've ever had in my entire life. Why? Because immigrant parents.
Yeah.
He didn't believe in toys. Even like any toy, he'd be like, "Oh, you're getting spoiled." So nothing. My dad never bought me toys
Nothing.
when I was a kid.
Nothing.
Ever.
Wow. That is the old school immigrant thing.
Firmly against any toy, right?
That's fantastic.
And definitely explains why I have such a collection now.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Because it was very much like nah, no toys.
That's wild. My mother would get so mad because I had the WWF, like, remember the blue ring? That classic one? Okay, so I would always do the voice of commentary as a kid.
Really?
And my mother, it drove her insane because I would do like McMahon. Like, and then he's got up 1, 2. No, he doesn't. And I would do that whole thing, for hours. And then he hit him 1, 2. You're doing the commentary. She would lose her freaking mind.
I would imagine if a child did that to an older person, it would sound like they were having some kind of like exorcist experience.
Yeah, that's kind of what it would sound like. Yeah.
Like if you're doing a Vince McMahon voice at like 5 years old, especially that one, like I could see reason for strain. Also, side note, this is a wild one too about my dad and toys and shit. Right?
What does he think of Toad?
Well, I'll tell you off the air. So when I was a kid, I had this awesome set of dinosaurs, right? He melted all the tails because he was afraid I was going to hurt myself with it. And why? Because I was very much left alone as a kid. It's very self-sufficient from a very young age. So like my dad would go to work and my mom would go to work. So his idea of a babysitter was, let me melt the tails off the dinosaurs. At least he's not going to poke his eye out.
Oh my God. That's actually brilliant.
Oh, I hated it.
It just shows you the thought process, right? Like, I get it, dude. I get it, right? It's not like, hey, the odds of him hurting himself are low, or maybe we should be here. Let me just melt the tails off.
Yeah, that way I don't got to worry about it.
Yeah, fantastic.
Wild.
I have a crazy wrestling toy story.
What is yours?
I got all my wrestling toys thrown away at pre-K because I had this Stone Cold Steve Austin vest that I used to wear around, and I went to pre-K and started stunning all the kids, so my mom threw away all my wrestling toys.
I would throw you away if you did that.
Yeah.
I would keep the vest. I would get rid of Jonathan.
Also, Jonathan's well into his 30s, so he was in pre-K when he was 10 years old.
1990. Weird. Yeah. He was in pre-K when he was 10. So I don't know. Unbelievable. There is that story about this kid that I was in school with, and he came to class with the Steve Austin vest, and he smashed 2 Coca-Colas on the teacher's desk, and he poured it all over himself. He got suspended. Fantastic.
Guys, let me tell you, smashing 2 cans of anything over your head is very rewarding and very satisfying.
Yeah, very, very rewarding. All right, that's a great question.
I'd rather do the beer thing instead of like soda. Like 2 soda cans, you just get all sticky.
Yeah. I can't believe we went around in high school just telling people to suck our dicks constantly. It was unbelievable.
But we'd get in trouble for that, which is hysterical. Like, I can't tell you how many times I got like detention in high school for doing crotch chops and double fingers.
Yeah, double fingers and crotch chops. What else?
Moving on?
Yeah, that was a great question.
A little comment from our
I
buddy
can't
David
believe your
Clare
father.
Bennett.
I can't believe he melted. I mean, I can, but that is hysterical.
I'll bring that up. He melted the tails on the dinosaurs, and this one drove me nuts. And I'll still bring this one up to this day. He melted Voltron's sword. I used to have the Voltron, like the Voltron.
What?
Same principle. Like,
so what did he make? A stub? He made it into a stub.
Yeah, it was just melted.
Oh, that's so bonkers.
Yeah, it's nuts. I'll bring it up every so often, and he'll be like, "Oh, you remember that?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
of course." It's a core memory. It's a core memory now.
Yeah. Fucked my shit up. All right.
I'm sorry I unlocked this.
No, it's fine. This is from David Clare Bennett. You guys make this day so much better. Thank you both. Rich and
thank
Amy.
you. Cheers.
Thank you. This is from NCASP POD. When do you guys see AEW and WWE announcing new TV deals for WWE before or after the sale? And will both companies get increases?
I would imagine that it would be before the sale. I would imagine the summer for both. I would assume you would have an answer. Yeah. So I think they're going to start negotiating after WrestleMania I think that's what I had heard.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess maybe May, June, same time around a sale. Maybe they'll announce it all together. For AEW, same thing. I think probably by the summer we'll have an answer as to what they're doing. They'll probably announce whatever major thing it is around All Out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah,
and I imagine
sure.
it would include ROH too, right?
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah.
You ready for the next one?
ROH is doing the tapings, by the way, in Orlando.
Oh, very cool. Also, not to plug another podcast, but if you guys haven't checked out Jericho's Jay Briscoe tribute this week, very good.
I got to check it out.
You had a bunch of guys on there, very, very heartfelt stories, a lot of funny stories too. So like, go check that one out if you need some reminiscing. This one's from Rick71. If Matt Cardona ends up returning to WWE, does it make more sense to capitalize on his hard work as Cardona rather than just go back to Zack Ryder?
I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking there. I think what he did over the last couple of years has been fantastic. But what's more recognizable, Zack Ryder returning or Matt Cardona coming in?
Zack Ryder. It's one of those interesting things where you have a guy like Cody leaving and essentially going on like this journeyman expedition, right?
Yeah.
Coming back as a fully realized character where, you know, as much as we love Matt Cardona, and it's not a knock on the guy, he didn't have that same trajectory. You know, I think a lot of diehards will want to see it like quote unquote Matt Cardona, but if you're a WWE fan, you know, you want Zack Ryder, right?
You want Zack Ryder if you're a WWE fan, yeah.
And another question, BC Knight, any free agent update on Jay White, Nick Aldis, or Matt Cardona?
Nothing. I know Aldis is not going to NWA. Cardona, I mean, if he's going anywhere, I think it would be WWE. And Jay White, that's the big question. What does WWE do with him if they have him? Do they want him? Yeah, they definitely want him, but what's best for him? He's in Florida, so
yeah,
I have nothing on those guys.
I think it's tough now because in the last 5 years of pro wrestling, I feel like everybody has stepped up their promo game to a level that it has never been at, or at least hasn't been at for ages, right? He's one of those guys where you really need him to let loose on the microphone. Cody's a different, again, I'm going to, Jay White.
Jay White.
Cody's a different story because I think working within that WWE system, Cody could still cut a very Cody promo, you know? I think everybody knows what makes Cody's promos work is that they are emotional and crying-based promos, and it'll hook you every single time.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Cody on the bump pointing at everything?
That was hysterical. Great. Yeah, that was great. That was BTC. Cody's back. BTC, that's you. BT Cody was back. He was pointing at everything. Did you see the fog machine? The guy behind him had a fog machine.
Yeah.
Oh,
fantastic. Yeah, really
hysterical.
Funny. Yeah, if you haven't checked it out, check it out.
Yeah, good. A lot of good wrestling stuff. It's always better when it leads to like the road to WrestleMania, right? Like it's always a little bit better because you don't know what's going to happen. All right. This is from Alex. I'm going to try not to butcher this guy's last name. Alex Kairiglu. Hey guys, greetings from Athens, Greece. Do you think we can see a triple threat match between Roman, Cody, and Sami at WrestleMania? If that happens, and that's a big if, who should win?
I think that would be a nightmare because everybody would book Cody.
Yeah.
They would boo. I mean, it would be impossible for Cody to be over.
How do you get the crowd? If you were booking, Andrew, how would you get the crowd to not boo Cody?
You have to get Sami to kind of endorse Cody somewhere. Mm-hmm. So whether or not you start doing some like 3-on-3 matches between Cody and Cody, Sami, and Kevin versus the Bloodline or what, but you're gonna have to align Cody with them to take that desire, you know, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, Cody's taking Sami's spot. No, it's not that. And you can't make it look like that.
Well, how about this? This is going to be fantasy booking. for you. And it's a little nonsensical, but I feel like it also does make sense. You ready?
Yeah.
Somehow, Cody's spot at Mania is on the line between him and Sami. Sami loses at Elimination Chamber, right?
Okay.
His spot at WrestleMania is on the line. Loses to Sami. Sami takes Cody's spot at Mania. The consolation prize, which I feel like if you watch the Rumble, you see the writing on the wall here. Consolation prize is Cody beating Gunther for the IC title.
Oh man, that would be so devastating to Cody.
But he's a guy that plays ball. He knows the business.
I don't
right?
think he's playing ball here though. I think this is part of his I'm coming back.
Like title at WrestleMania, boom.
Yeah. Like I think well, here's the other thing, right? Like you can't cool him. That would definitely cool him to an extent. Right now, if you cool him, it's counterintuitive because remember, he's going to be feuding with Seth again. Maybe they do another, maybe they do Sami and him at SummerSlam. And that could be Sami's moment.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make a king here. And once you take that emotional investment out of Cody as being the guy that's going to beat Roman, he's not really left with much. But I definitely think Gunther is going to be in the program post-Mania for Cody.
Yeah.
You need to create... Listen, how old school of booking is this? You got a foreign heel that's a monster going up against the all-American blonde, blue-eyed babyface, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he would be the opponent for him.
And also, great chemistry between Cody and Gunther.
Yeah.
And I believe this is the first time that they ever wrestled each other, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, those two together are going to be great. I'm just... When, though? Maybe Cody holds both titles. He could do an IC and a world title, right? Did you...
three belts.
Yeah, 3 belts. Did you see how he wants to... He was talking about bringing the old Winged Eagle belt back?
Oh, buddy.
You didn't see that? He was talking about it. Well, they are working on a new title belt. I don't know if it's done or what, but there is a new belt being made.
He said he wanted. He didn't know that he could do it, but he said like a fever dream or something.
But he did. He did it with the IC title. I mean, it would kind of continued a storyline if he, that's his belt. Only when Cody has a title, that's the undisputed title.
He also paid out of pocket for that IC belt, I believe.
He did, and he was told he can't use it.
Wild.
So what he did, that belt was not the old school title. It was a brand new design. When they got a cease and desist because they didn't license the belt. The design, the license is owned by, I don't know, Reggie Park, whoever the belt maker was. Is it Reggie? Yeah. I don't know. They had to go back to the old IC to kind of make good on this and pay the license for the design. But that belt was something totally different. It was really cool. It was like almost like diamond out, right? It was like a sparkly.
It was great.
Yeah, it was a fantastic title. Cody IC title. Let me see.
Who knows what's going to happen at this point? I think this is what makes this season very interesting and wildly entertaining too. Like I'm very entertained. I really want to see how it works out.
Yeah, me too. Big time.
The book is the book. Let's see what we got here. This is from Balor Club Guy. What's up, Andrew and Rich? Royal Rumble was so fun to attend. My question is there any info on when WWE will announce their PLE locations for this year?
I thought some are announced. They're not? Nothing's announced? I don't know. I got to look into
MG?
that.
Yeah, some are. I think they're like 6 months ahead. I don't think all of them are. They didn't last year. What he's referring to last year, they blurted out the entire schedule, but they also were coming off the pandemic, and I think they wanted to get it out there that they were going to cities again. So I think that's why they did that last year.
I think I got the ones that have been announced so far.
What are they?
So obviously Elimination Chamber, Stand and Deliver April 1st at Crypto Arena.
Okay.
Then you have WrestleMania, SoFi, and then Money in the Bank, O2 Arena, July 1st, and that seems to be all that's.
That's it. Okay, so nothing domestically. Okay, all right. Well, that's good to know. I'll find out. I'll ask. What else do we have?
This is a good one. This is a fun one. This is from the Shadow Ranger. You can pick any 3 wrestlers to be on any reality show. What wrestlers do you choose, and what show do you put them on?
Kenny Omega, The Undertaker, and Flair.
Okay, what show?
I put him on Big Brother.
Oh boy.
What's yours?
Did you eat my Vienna sausage? The Undertaker's just getting very upset at people who eat his food and his weird food in the refrigerator.
He has a lot of weird food in that fridge.
Did you eat my kimchi?
Dorian. He loves Dorian.
I want to see Kenny Omega trying to teach Flair and Undertaker how to play video games.
I feel like Undertaker's a secret gamer.
You think so?
I think so. I think that dude loves video games, and he's that's like his secret. That's like his kayfabe.
I had such a good joke. I can't say it on the show.
Let's see. 3 wrestlers on any reality show. I'd put the Miz on Real World. Austin.
That's shocking.
Austin was definitely on my list. But it's Austin with the vest, no shirt on, and the black trunks.
Undercover Boss. Steve Austin on Undercover Boss.
Oh my God! Imagine Steve Austin on Undercover Boss with like a fake mustache and like a wig. I went undercover at my Austin's taco location. Nobody knew who I was. These burritos taste like shit. Man, I can't believe nobody knew who I was. It's ridiculous.
Vince, do you remember when Vince did it? He went Undercover Boss. He looked insane. It was so bad.
He had a wig and a mustache and glasses, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You can't. Certain people, you can't hide who you are underneath makeup. They'll Austin for sure. You'll see that guy coming 10 miles away. You can see that dude walking from outer space.
I mean, nobody has a neck like that. Yeah, give me one.
No.
Jonathan.
All right, I'm putting Cena, R-Truth, and Enzo in Making the Band.
In Making the Band. That's actually that makes way too much sense, and it's I think it would actually be a show that people would watch. Unfortunately,
I think you're the biggest Enzo fan that we talk to.
How you doing?
Because you're a big Jersey guy, right?
He's a big Jersey guy.
You're a big Mike's. You're a big Jersey Mike sub guy, right?
No.
He loves Jersey Mikes. Dude, you want to see this cool thing I got? Watch this.
Sure.
It's a lighter.
What is that?
It's a lighter.
Is that a vape?
No, it's a lighter.
You zap your balls with that, like Jackass style?
I just zap my balls with it. It's a lighter.
I got one of those. I have a different one, though.
I got one for my candles.
Yeah, that thing is awesome. All right.
Yeah, the ones you're selling?
I'm selling these, yeah. The Matman branded lighters.
Jonathan, are you selling candles like an OnlyFans girl?
Yeah. The smell is of my socks.
Zero business.
Zero.
All right. Let's see what we got here. This is from BC Knight. Who would win in an all-house Zarian Royal Rumble?
I would be eliminated instantly.
Yeah. Who throws you over the top rope?
Oh, definitely my father.
He's been waiting for the day.
Listen, I've been waiting for this moment all day.
Who beat up my sons? I'm in heaven.
I one time not that he's my brother, but Deacon, our intern, he was so drunk, and I was also very, very drunk, and I kept chopping the shit out of him where he was all blistered up.
Oh, wow.
I hit him with the best freaking suplex I've ever seen in my life on the floor. He was taking everything, and he felt like shit the next day.
I'm sure, man. Did you make him throw up?
I made him throw up. Yeah, I chopped him so hard he threw up. He did. No, he did throw up. Yeah.
This is from Mega King Mikey Tendo. Even with 2 nights, do you want 3 Bloodline matches at WrestleMania? I think I'm okay with it, but it could be too much if not done properly.
Why 3?
Well, Roman, the Usos, and probably Solo.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, you're going to have to. They're in a stable. Or maybe not Solo. Maybe Solo doesn't wrestle because who's Solo feuding with, right? Nobody really.
If they have a ladder match, put him in a ladder match.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. What else do we have?
We got time for a couple more. Guys, make them good ones. We got a comment here from Michael Thomas Banshitz. Win nerdu alien. Vienna says, hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Is he really in Vienna? That'd be cool.
Maybe he is in Vienna.
Or did he just hear us talk about the Undertaker's Vienna
sausage? Maybe, yeah, we did talk about it. But are Vienna sausages from Vienna? I find that hard to believe.
That's a good question. Is Chinese food from China? No, it is not.
No, it is not. Not the Chinese food that we eat.
Canonically, not the Chinese food that we eat. Let's see. All right, we do have time for one more.
All right.
Ooh, really good. Shrikant, great question. It's not loading up. Very strange. All right. What will be your reaction if Sami beats Roman at Montreal?
I would be shocked, and I think it would be great. I think the reaction would be fantastic. Then they would have to figure out how the hell they're doing this, you know? But I think it would be fantastic for Sami. You know, it does say something about Sami and how resilient he is and how good he is. In Vienna, we call them Frankfurters. And in Frankfurt, they call them Vienna
Wurstchen. That's my nickname for Andrew.
That is what he calls me.
Vienna Wurstchen.
I listen, I think for Sami, this is freaking awesome. This guy was El Generico. And now he's in the hottest storyline in the last, at least 5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wild.
Let's do one more that has to do with the bloodline. Okay. This is from the Kingsman. This is our last question. With all the story behind, should WWE use the bloodline story and the massive heat on the tag titles to elevate it and make it a big deal? It'll easily have the best build to a tag match in WrestleMania history. Thoughts?
Yeah, right? It would be a huge story for WrestleMania.
But where do you go if KO and Sami win those tag belts at Mania? Like, where do you see that going?
I think they just I don't know where it goes. Like, it would it go anywhere important? Probably not so much, right?
Right.
Like, it would just be, okay, who do they have to feud with? Who do they have that's in a hot story with them? Are they just going to be doing, matches with Imperium? Like, where do you go from there? But,
right.
And then the other thing is, does Kevin turn on Sami? Like, do you do that again? I don't know.
Or do you keep KO off TV until Elimination Chamber and he helps Sami win? Now that's a pop.
That's a pop. Yeah. I think what's going to have, what I could see happening is Kevin comes out to help Sami and something happened. Obviously Roman wins. They're getting beaten down on, and here comes Cody to save them.
That would be pretty cool.
And then you start out, then you could build that 3-on-3 story moving forward. Or Jay, he thinks that he has Jay in his corner. Sami thinks he has Jay in his corner, and Jay turns on him and costs him. And then here comes Kevin, and then you do that whole schmaz ending.
Oh, yeah. Listen, whatever it is, I think we're both very much looking forward to this.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, big time. I think everybody is. Me, you, everybody. I think it's a cool moment for wrestling.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When do you see Koda Ibushi in AEW? I don't know. Hopefully soon. I would love to see him on AEW.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Rich. I got to give a little plug here.
Sure.
So MG and Jonathan are doing an XFL podcast. The season starts on the 18th. Follow XFL Pod on Twitter. They're on all social media platforms, and the first episode comes out on social media. These guys have been working hard on this. They're going to be doing an XFL podcast, which I think is a lot of fun. It's very different than what we do here on Mat Men. Still a little wrestling related because it's the XFL, but they're going to be doing this every week. Go check it out. Yeah. Go check it out. Go check it out, please. Please, go check it out.
You want to take us home, Andrew?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we're done. Rich, I'll see you later.
Later.
Bye. Bye, everybody.